This is a little booklet about free will. It has 7 chapters. I wrote it because I wanted to get to the 7th. First, we say what free will is not. Then we say what it is. Third, we say we have free will and do not have it at the same time. Fourth, we line up some big thinkers on the issue. Next, we ask where in the world sociology has led us. Then we consider responsibility. Finally, in Chapter 7, we ask if we can get past all these intellectual questions about free will and find out how we can get some. On terminology, free will, freedom, and choice are the same. Free will. Is it a myth or a gift? Free will. What isn't it? Free will is not several other things, and we have to clean this up before we go on. Freedom is not liberty. This is key. Liberty and freedom are often used interchangeably, and they are not interchangeable. Let's clear the playing field. Liberty and freedom take place in different realms. The absence of liberty takes place in material, economic, political, and social realms. A human is not at liberty to fly in the sky, except in a plane. My dog is not at liberty to make me an Italian dinner. I'm not at liberty to drive on the wrong side of the street, at least not for long. I'm not at liberty to visit a foreign country without a passport, or at liberty to walk down the street naked. If I am in prison, I am not at liberty to leave. A social rule or physical limitations hem me in. They take away or they set my liberty. The Statue of Liberty is not the Statue of Freedom. Liberty is restricted by our physical limits and then set further by society. With the Statue of Liberty, France gifted the U.S. for forming a country based on liberties. This was new, for other governments evolved out of ancient traditions of royalty. The U.S. Declaration of Independence has one instance of the word liberty and none of the word freedom. And the U.S. Constitution has 3 occurrences of the word liberty and uses the word freedom only once. The one use of the word freedom is in the First Amendment, and we get to it in the next chapter about what freedom is. In a famous moment from the founding days rang the phrase, "Give me liberty or give me death." It was not "give me freedom or give me death." Liberty meant fewer governmental regulations. Liberals at the time advocated liberty from government, and now, 250 years later, the meaning of liberal has turned on its head. Liberals advocate for more governmental regulation. This shift drove some to relabel themselves as libertarians in pursuit of an original vision of liberty. Matters of liberty are in the physical, material world, and of government and society, so they're malleable, changeable. Freedom is in the realm of God, so it is eternal. Besides freedom being distinct and separate from liberty, what else is freedom not? Free will is not determinism. Determinism is the operating premise of science. It assumes that one observable thing or event is related to another observable thing or event, and scientists count, measure, and weigh observable facts in order to say that one causes the other, or at least that they're co-related. With counts and measurements in hand, predictions can be made, technology can flourish, and magical thinking can be shunned. There's no room in there for free will. Free will has no place in determinism. Free will is not magic or fantasy. A steel beam cannot bend with a wish, nor can a flower seed blossom into a giraffe, and a giant tortoise does not hold up the planet. The material world does not operate that way. Fantasy is for myths and storybooks. Free will is not reducible to the quantum foundation of everything. Everything is made up of atoms, and atoms are made of subatomic particles, and particles are weird. A particular electron might go this way or that, but this indeterminacy does not add up to human freedom. It may be free will for the electron, but not free will for the human. Although a dieter facing a chocolate donut may bear a certain resemblance to an unobserved electron. Free will is also not the butterfly effect, the idea that everything is connected to everything. A sneeze here in California might evoke a kiss in China. Maybe so, but we require more precision to help understand freedom. Free will has no place in fatalism, which is the doctrine that everything is set up ahead of time and we're just fulfilling destinies. No room for freedom there. Free will is not logic or illogic. Logic and math have inviolate rules. Socrates is a man, all men are mortal, therefore, etc. I'm not free to have 2 + 2 = 7 or to have Socrates come out immortal. One thing inexorably follows upon the next in the material world and in logic and in mathematics. Logic and determinism hold these sequences sacred. There is no space in there for freedom. Even an evolutionary mutation is approached as understandable. An error caused the mutation. Freedom is not an error. To sum up what freedom is not, so as to land in the next chapter insofar as it's possible on what freedom is not liberty. Freedom is not determinism. It's not magic. It's not the quantum. It's not the idea that everything is connected to anything. It's not fatalism, and it's not illogic. It is. Free will. What is it? Freedom happens outside the material world, like God. It comes out of nowhere, from beyond. It simply happens. It's eternal, omnipresent. Freedom is spirit. This is the freedom we mean when we ask if a human being has it. Freedom can be sensed, but not measured, by the supremely sensitive instrument that is human awareness. It can be felt, but not objectified. Since it cannot be proven in a scientific way, we may say no, out of bounds for discussion, but to others it seems to be our most precious innermost. The attempt to define freedom is an attempt to confine it, so it extinguishes its open essence. The Hindus admonish us when we presume to define God, and so to any definition they reply, neti, 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 which translates to not this, not that. While we admittedly cannot define or confine freedom, we can begin to describe its attributes. Free will is beyond language or science. It's a feeling awareness. If we were water droplets, it would be right when we burst and release the good ions. Freedom is an effervescence, a quickening. It is that of which we are made. Awareness is boundless openness with no color, smell, or texture because it contains the awareness of all. So is freedom just a feeling? Well, we could say it's the feeling of feeling, the awareness of feeling. It's the very feeling of being fully alive. It is a wide, deep, empty awareness that holds all. It's being. It is prior to the many derivative feelings, romantic feelings, angry feelings, happy or hurt or confused feelings, even beyond joy. It's that which we are. Being is unalloyed, like gold. We know it, and we have a deep longing for it. It is us. It's not a state, as in the state of being, for states have boundaries, and being has none. It is who we are. In freedom is the sense of possibility, unbounded, unending. It's not mine or yours. It's non-judgmental. It feels like a blended channel linking mind and heart and going out. Since it's felt, but not tangible, it's not easy to put into words. A poet might get close. J.D. Salinger said, happiness is a solid and joy is a liquid. Well, okay, that's a move in the right direction. Free will is total acceptance and full possibility. To know it We need to view being human as a dance or a calling rather than a state or a box. Being alive is alive, and when we are free, we are most alive. In the Judeo-Christian world, the human is seen as made in the image of God. Free will is said to be God's greatest gift to us. God offered free will to Adam and Eve when he first set down yes and no for them. A naive Eve, with no knowledge of yes and no, since she lived in a world of only yes, took him up on it. She was a scout for freedom. Her bite spawned all our stories. With our remarkable science, we still cannot explain the origin of life, nor create it from scratch. Nor can we calculate how one egg said yes to one among 2 million sperm to create you. You were created in mystery, and mystery is your element. This mystery of freedom is independent of the secular state. Freedom is God-given, nature-given. Because it is nature-given or God-given, it is inalienable. That's what's meant by inalienable rights in the Declaration of Independence. No man can remove what is elemental to being human from a human. Freedom comes with us. And how the woman and the man related to it forms the first story in the Bible. The founding fathers of the United States were fully cognizant of this distinction between liberty and freedom. The single time the word freedom is found in the Constitution is in the First Amendment. There must be freedom of speech and press, freedom for what a human does, which is to feel, think, and speak his or her mind. Speech is the power that makes us human. It even makes us God-like. First there was the Word, and then there was everything else. The Word creates. The power of the Word cannot be removed from humans without removing their essence. Freedom is not given by the state. It's inalienable. It was there long before human groups had states. Freedom is the stuff of which we are made. To say we are free is not in conflict with the causal power of determinism. Determinism still holds, but it's not the only hold on us. A scientist sees this thing called freedom as but one of the balls on a billiard table where balls hit other balls and every outcome can be mathematically calculated. But freedom is not something we have like a possession. It's something we're in or of. Because of its unalloyed nature, one can have his liberty taken away, be thrown in prison, and still be free. Viktor Frankl's recount of his years in Nazi concentration camps, in man's search for meaning, penetrates this mystery. In the camps, he was not at liberty, but in the camps, he was free. So freedom is not what those who refuse to acknowledge it say it is. The two sides are not even talking about the same thing. When you exercise free will, you emanate from the immaterial.